On the day of the graduation dinner, my girlfriend wrote Ethan's name on the crush vote. She thought it was an anonymous vote, but I could recognize her handwriting at a glance and clearly see her crush index. The value I had built up over 6 years was not as high as her initial meeting with Ethan. Thinking about this, I flipped the table and decided not to play anymore. It took 6 years to win her over, but only a moment to give up. During the dinner game, Ethan didn't have many crush votes and was about to lose to me. The classmate hosting the game couldn't bear to see him lose so badly and said he had one chance to rally votes. The host said there were only 13 votes counted so far. We had 19 female classmates, so 6 people hadn't voted yet. Ethan's gaze swept around the room and finally landed on Victoria, the campus goddess sitting opposite him. With a hint of pleading, he said, "Ladies, you're being too biased. I know Sebastian is the student council president and has many admirers, but please don't let me lose so badly, okay?" Sitting next to my girlfriend, Victoria, I clearly saw her crush index for Ethan increase by 2%. She lightly pursed her lips, lowered her eyes, and stood up with a secret smile on her face. She walked to another table with paper and pen. Her 5 close friends followed her. The 6 votes were mixed together and handed to the host. The host looked surprised and whistled. "I can't believe it. Ethan made a comeback." He placed the 6 votes on the table one by one, smiling slightly. Ethan's rally was too successful. He gained 5 votes, totaling 10. Our president only gained 1 vote, losing with 9. What a pity. Others immediately teased, "Oh, that 1 vote for Sebastian must have been from our campus goddess, Victoria." But some doubted, how could the goddess's handwriting be so ugly, like a turtle crawling? So everyone noticed something was off but didn't dare to say it out loud. They tacitly shifted to other topics. The atmosphere quickly became lively again. Only I sat quietly in my seat. Victoria had been my girlfriend for years, and I knew her handwriting too well. Among the 5 crush votes with Ethan's name, 1 had elegant handwriting, undoubtedly from Victoria. I took out her crush vote and placed it in the most conspicuous position. "No need to guess. She voted for Ethan," I said with a smile. The whole room fell silent. Victoria's face changed slightly, but she didn't deny it. Her friends who voted with her immediately said, "Sebastian, don't mind it. It was my idea." I felt sorry for Ethan and persuaded Victoria to vote for him. "It's just a game for fun." Others quickly agreed, "Exactly. Who here doesn't know how much Victoria likes our president? They've been voted the best campus couple for 3 consecutive years. A perfect match." During this time, Ethan smiled brightly and said cheerfully, "Thank you, ladies, for your support. I know I won because of the rally. If Sebastian had rallied votes, I wouldn't have stood a chance." Understanding and sensible, everyone applauded. He turned to me and said, "Sebastian, you won't be mad, right? Victoria is your girlfriend, after all. If it bothers you, I can give the vote back to you." I found it amusing and said, "No need. The vote is yours." I thought, the vote is yours, and so is she. The loser had to drink the same number of drinks as the winning votes. I slowly lined up 10 glasses and chose the strongest whiskey to pour. Everyone was stunned and tried to persuade me that the punishment was just a joke and not to take it seriously. Drinking so much alcohol quickly would be unbearable, even if I had a high tolerance. Of course, it was unbearable. I had a severe stomach condition, which Victoria knew. So she was puzzled and tried to take the bottle from me. I avoided her and continued until the glasses were full. She said, "Sebastian, you can't drink that much." She couldn't understand why I suddenly wasn't cooperating. I looked at her and whispered in her ear, "Didn't you already think of this when you voted for Ethan?" When voting, I saw her say something to her friends, and then 5 votes went to Ethan, just enough to win me. Seeing Victoria speechless, I continued, "You couldn't bear to see your good friend suffer from drinking, but you can bear to see your boyfriend suffer, right?" I started drinking 1 glass after another, like it was water. Victoria didn't stop me. A bit angry that I was fussing over a vote, others noticed the subtle tension between us, and the noise quieted down a bit. After drinking 10 glasses, I wasn't drunk. I didn't wait for Victoria and took a taxi home alone. I was fine on the way, but as soon as I got home, I rushed to the bathroom and started vomiting. The pungent smell quickly filled the cramped space. My stomach felt like it was on fire, and I had to hold on to the sink to avoid collapsing. My head was burning. Looking at my miserable self in the mirror, my shoulders started to tremble uncontrollably. By the end of the dinner, Victoria's crush index for Ethan had reached 89%, while for me it was a pitiful 45%, stagnant for half a year since she met Ethan. It hadn't increased. I met Victoria in high school. She transferred in, and I fell in love at first sight. No one knew I could see the crush index of the person I liked, whether it was for me or someone else. As long as she had a crush, I could see it. Victoria's crush index was always 0, meaning she didn't like anyone. I was overjoyed and began a long pursuit. Finally, in the summer of our senior year, I won her over, and she agreed to be my girlfriend. Her crush index for me was only 28%, but I wasn't discouraged. The first step was a victory, and there was still a long way to go. She was academically excellent, and to catch up with her, I had to study tirelessly, often burning the midnight oil. Despite the exhaustion and struggles, I never thought of giving up. I gritted my teeth and persevered. Reflecting on these years, I accompanied her from high school to university. She was crowned the campus goddess, dazzling and radiant. I bit the bullet and ran for student council president, focusing all my attention on her, vowing to be her most steadfast support. Whenever our studies became overwhelming, we would cuddle together, encouraging each other and dreaming about the future. She said, "Sebastian, when you graduate and earn a lot of money, you must buy me countless beautiful dresses and take me to see the sea in Bali and the northern lights in Iceland." Victoria nestled in my arms, her voice ethereal and pleasant, saying she wanted to travel and get married with me, seeing all the sights she dreamed of. That way, when we grew old, we would have many memories. Seeing her include me in her future plans filled me with joy. At that time, I believed her, even though her crush index was only 45%, not even half. I told myself it didn't matter. For so long, Victoria had only ever had a crush on me, never wavering for other guys. Maybe she was just a cold person. Even the hardest icebergs start to melt for me, so I felt content. But the next day, at a friend's gathering, she met Ethan for the first time, and her crush index immediately surpassed 50%. It made my 6 years of effort seem like a joke. I was sitting right next to her, listening to her excited heartbeat, thinking I was hallucinating. Until Ethan went to the restroom and didn't return for a long time. A classmate who went to find him came back in a panic, saying he was surrounded by some bar thugs and was fighting. It was the first time I saw Victoria so anxious. Without a word, she left the room, her eyes red, begging me to help Ethan fight. That was my first time facing a group beating. After the fight, I was covered in injuries, but the physical pain was nothing compared to the emotional agony. Seeing Victoria so distressed confirmed that the absurdly high crush index wasn't an illusion. Later, I asked her why she was so agitated. Her eyes flickered with panic for a moment before she calmly explained, "Those thugs are the worst. They don't just bully people, they often harass female students." What if they harassed me? "Sebastian, could you bear to see me hurt?" I forced a smile. The glaring 50% crush index increased by another 5% when she saw Ethan's forehead bleeding. That day, everyone drank a lot. I lay on the sofa, clutching my kicked abdomen, enduring the pain. Victoria thought I didn't see her asking the waiter for alcohol and gauze to tenderly disinfect and bandage Ethan. Even though I, her boyfriend, was more seriously injured, she ignored me, giving all her tenderness and concern to another man. After that, countless times because of Ethan, Victoria broke our dates. Even when I had a severe stomachache and she went to buy me medicine, she abandoned me because of a call from Ethan, leaving me in pain, waiting for the medicine. I watched helplessly as her crush index for another man steadily climbed. We argued and fought, but she didn't care, always saying he was just a friend with similar interests and that she hadn't done anything inappropriate, urging me to be magnanimous. Even if I could deceive my heart into pretending not to care, I couldn't blind my eyes to the stark, painful contrast between the two numbers, constantly stabbing at me. Over time, no matter how painful it was, I got used to it, just like tonight, watching her unhesitatingly write Ethan's name on the crush vote. I wasn't surprised. In the end, I decided to let go of both her and my heart. Drinking too much made the night unbearable. When I finally lay down, I had many dreams, all about the years of my devotion to Victoria. There were sweet moments when I felt like I was soaring, but then I would plummet straight down. I watched that number day and night. Every time it increased for Ethan, I felt a dull pain, making me question why I fell in love with Victoria. Was it because the first time we met, she was being bullied by seniors and pitifully hid behind me? Or was it simply because I was infatuated with her pure and beautiful face? To this day, it's hard to say. After all these years of entanglement, I'm truly exhausted. Getting out of bed, my stomach burning, I swallowed a few pills to calm it down. I took out my phone to order takeout but saw several missed calls, all from my childhood friend, along with a few urgent messages he wrote. Sebastian, check our school forum. Sebastian, answer me. How could Victoria, who likes you so much, do this? Is it that dog Ethan's doing? I had a rough idea of what happened. Opening the school forum, the first hot post title was school's best model couple suspected of breaking up. Frowning, I clicked in. The poster was likely one of the attendees from last night's gathering. The content described how the campus goddess Victoria wrote Ethan's name on the crush vote instead of her boyfriend, the student council president Sebastian. The key point was that the president himself exposed Victoria's crush vote. In the end, the president lost, drank 10 glasses of alcohol in a row, and took a taxi home alone. There was even a picture attached. Clicking on it, I saw my back as I was about to get into a taxi, looking very dejected. On the other side of the picture, Victoria was supporting a drunken, stumbling Ethan, looking very intimate. I stared at the sarcastic picture for a good few seconds, unable to help but smile bitterly. No wonder she didn't call me last night. She was with Ethan. The comments section was very active, with many people sympathizing with me, saying things like, "The president is too pitiful, being publicly humiliated by someone inferior to him. Who is this Ethan, making the goddess leave Sebastian? Come on, that's Sebastian we're talking about." However, some comments said, "What's so great about Sebastian? I despise student council presidents. How can anyone who runs for student council president be a good person?" Someone retorted, "What's wrong with the president? Don't accuse him without reason. Sebastian, unlike his predecessors, has no airs and always speaks up for students. I've always shipped Sebastian and Victoria, but now it's over." Scrolling down to the latest reply, posted a minute ago, it read, "What's the point of outsiders saying so much? Maybe they broke up long ago. How can the goddess finding a new boyfriend be considered cheating? Ethan didn't steal anyone's girlfriend. Just because she's dating Sebastian doesn't mean they can't break up. That's too domineering." I thought for a moment and replied under his comment, "We broke up last night." Then I exited the forum and ordered takeout. While waiting, my stomach suddenly ached sharply. I took several types of medicine, but nothing worked. The pain became unbearable, and my vision darkened. Taking a deep breath, I decisively called and then lost consciousness. The smell of disinfectant filled my nose as I struggled to open my eyes. "Sebastian, how are you? Is your stomach still hurting?" I looked towards the voice and saw Victoria. She seemed to have not slept for days, her delicate face adorned with dark circles. Seeing me awake, she looked delighted. I wanted to speak, but my throat was very uncomfortable. After a few coughs, Victoria immediately handed me a glass of water. "Drink it. The doctor said you'd want water when you woke up, so I've been keeping it warm." I hesitated to take it. She asked, "Is there anywhere else uncomfortable? I'll call the doctor." She turned to leave. I asked, "Is this fun for you, hearing my horrid voice?" Victoria stopped and turned to look at me, instantly understanding my meaning. She sighed helplessly, her eyes filled with exhaustion. "Sebastian, it's just a vote. Why are you so harsh on me, so petty?" As long as Ethan wasn't involved, Victoria was always gentle and considerate, doing everything a perfect girlfriend would do, making the guys at school envious. But every time Ethan was mentioned, it was always unpleasant. I was equally exhausted. My stomach, which had just calmed down, started burning again, hurting terribly. I said, "Victoria, I'm not interested in playing games with you. I'm not being emotional. I've never been so clear-headed. That vote doesn't matter to me." She asked, "Then what is it?" Victoria frowned, full of confusion. I said, "It's that you don't realize you don't truly like me. You won't admit it, but your heart and actions have already given the answer." Strangely, the fact I had been unwilling to face was not so hard to accept once that tight string snapped. Some things need to be broken to be resolved. Victoria wanted to argue but couldn't find the words, feeling embarrassed. She said, "Sebastian, I know some things I've done before made you misunderstand. I apologize and promise it won't happen again." Before she finished, her phone rang. Victoria glanced at the screen, hesitated for a few seconds, but couldn't resist answering. "A friend is calling. I'll go talk to him outside so I don't disturb you." I nodded indifferently. That ringtone was exclusive to Ethan. I had known for a long time. Watching her leave the room, her eyes sparkling as she spoke to him, almost coyly, she glanced at me, hesitated for a few seconds, then quickly left. I inexplicably felt relieved. This relationship was over. Bored, I opened my phone and saw several unread messages from my friend. He had sent me some screenshots. Sebastian, did you really break up? The forum is buzzing. Someone found your account and saw your comment under the post. The screenshots showed my comment, "We broke up last night," with 99 plus replies. The following screenshots were heated discussions on the forum. Alumni commented, "No way they really broke up. Even the most compatible campus couple breaks up after graduation. I feel balanced now, but the word last night means they broke up because of Ethan, right? Can the president be cheated on? What's so charming about this Ethan?" Some doubted me, saying, "It's just Sebastian's side of the story. The goddess hasn't said anything. Maybe he was dumped long ago and said this to save face. Wouldn't that be unfair to Ethan?" People were wildly speculating. I read the comments with great interest when the hospital room door suddenly knocked. "Sebastian, it's your childhood friend." He stormed in, seeing my pale face, cursing, "Damn, I can't believe it. Victoria seemed nice, but she's two-faced. Did she really cheat with Ethan? Was I right?" My friend gritted his teeth. "A scum girlide with a jerk. Perfect match." He asked how I was feeling and if I needed anything. I said I didn't want to stay in the hospital or go home alone. He said, "That's easy. Come stay at my place, away from that scumbag girl." Before I could refuse, he had already packed me up and moved me to his place. Seeing me uneasy, my friend laughed. "Don't worry. It's just me and my absentee aunt. No one else." So I settled there, starting to think about my next steps. Before graduation, I had applied to several big companies I liked. Some accepted, some rejected. Only the one I wanted most, high tech, hadn't replied. A few days ago, I would have been anxious, but now I didn't care. Victoria had already decided to join high tech, and I applied there for her. One day, my friend was out of town at an exhibition and suddenly called me at midnight. "Sebastian, are you still awake? It's urgent. My aunt is drunk at Miss Bar. Room 2. Surrounded by people. Can you help get her out?" Confused, I followed his instructions, changed clothes, and entered the room where his aunt was. The scene shocked me. Besides a few women, the rest were men, some with dyed hair, some non-mainstream, dancing wildly around a stunningly beautiful woman. My friend's exact words were, "My aunt is the easiest to recognize. Just bring the most beautiful woman inside back home." A woman saw me enter and asked, "Hey there, who are you looking for? Want to get to know us?" I calmly scanned the room and headed straight for the woman, drunk and sprawled on the sofa, surrounded by men. I said, "Honey, you dared to cheat on me. Hurry up and come home." Pushing the men aside, I scolded, "What are you staring at? We just got our marriage license yesterday." Seizing the moment of their stunned silence, I grabbed the drunk woman and rushed out of the room. Just when I thought we could leave, her small hand took charge, pulling me back with unexpected force. I spun around, catching her hazy, water-like eyes staring intently at me, her breath smelling of alcohol. She said, "Husband," in a soft voice. Taking a boisterous drunk home wasn't easy. After getting her into her own room and settling her in, it was already the early hours of the morning. My stomach was starting to hurt again, so I curled up on the sofa, planning to rest before washing up and going to bed. But I fell into a deep sleep. I woke to a tickling sensation on my face, like a mosquito. Impatiently, I raised my hand to swat it away, inadvertently brushing against something soft, her lips. I snapped awake, my eyes meeting a stunning face and the red smudge of lipstick my fingers had left on her lips. The scene was incredibly intimate. I stared in shock for a few seconds before realizing what had happened. "Sorry, I didn't mean to," I quickly apologized, but she wasn't fully sober yet. Her eyes were still rimmed with a rosy hue, mesmerizing. Only a few ambient lights were on in the living room, casting a dim glow. She sat on the sofa, her long dress in disarray, her hair cascading like a waterfall. Scrutinizing me closely, unsure of her intentions, I decided to patiently wait for her to speak. However, I regretted it the next second. Out of nowhere, this woman got playful and plopped herself onto my lap, wrapping her arms around my neck. She leaned in close, our faces almost touching, our breaths mingling. I gulped, feeling her soft, supple body in my lap, not knowing where to place my hands to avoid inappropriate contact. "Auntie, let me introduce myself.
I'm Sebastian, a friend of Alex. I'm temporarily staying here, I said. The atmosphere was still awkwardly silent. I tried to make conversation. Bringing you back was Alex's idea. The marriage thing was just a lie. I didn't mean to take advantage of you. It was unclear if she understood.
Suddenly, she touched her own lips, saying with a strange hint of grievance, "My lipstick smeared."
I was baffled.
Then she fixated on my lips, her breathing getting heavier, like a hungry enchantress spotting a delicious treat. She looked at me with a determined gaze. Sensing danger, I tried to extricate her from my lap, but it was too late. Her teasing kiss made my heart skip a beat.
This captivating woman in my lap was relentlessly tempting me.
Being a normal man, a moment of self-abandonment crossed my mind.
I was already betrayed by Victoria, so why not indulge in a one-night stand? But my morals kept me sober.
I didn't want to hurt this woman by forcefully pulling her away, so I adjusted my rhythm to align with hers, just to catch my breath. The smell of alcohol mixed with her alluring scent filled my senses. My mind felt like a jumbled mess. After a seemingly endless kiss, the lingering electric comfort in my mouth made me fear I might turn into a wolf and commit a grave mistake. I only wanted to escape, but she was reluctant to let go, murmuring more as she tried to kiss me again. Her hand clung to me, her fingers resting on my shoulders. I couldn't appreciate her beauty at that moment. Hurriedly pushing her away, seizing the moment she loosened her grip in pain, I fled to my room and locked the door.
Finally at ease, I tried to calm my racing heart.
I thought of calling Alex on video but hesitated, not wanting him to see my swollen lips.
I sent a voice message instead, asking, "Does your aunt often get drunk and act crazy?"
Alex and Night Owl replied quickly, "No, she's usually very quiet when drunk."
"What's up?"
I quickly said it was nothing, keeping my thoughts to myself. The next morning, I expected awkwardness but saw no sign of her.
Relieved, I planned to pack up and move back home when an email notification arrived. High-Tech had accepted me.
I hesitated for a moment but made my decision.
High-Tech offered the highest salary among the companies I applied to.
As for Victoria, it was time to let go completely. On my first day at work, I meticulously chose my suit.
The HR led me to meet the big boss, instructing me to always pay attention to the boss's needs. Yes, bosses, echoed in my mind, feeling slightly resentful.
After a few knocks, the HR entered with me following closely behind.
"Miss Isabella, your new assistant is here. Come in, Sebastian. Your desk is over there." After a brief handover, the HR left.
I sat at my desk, puzzled, looking at the woman sleeping on the reception sofa, facing inwards, covered with a blanket, her face obscured.
This was Isabella, the renowned CEO of High-Tech.
With nothing much to do on the first day, I was zoning out when my phone suddenly rang.
After hanging up multiple times, I saw messages from Victoria asking to meet.
Confused by the forum replies and wanting to discuss our relationship, she even suggested meeting at the restaurant where we had our first date. I smirked sarcastically and decisively blocked her number. When I looked up, I saw a very familiar face. The woman napping on the sofa seemed to have been woken up by my phone ringing.
She lazily got up.
"Oh my God, Aunt," my pupils shrank, thinking I was mistaken until I saw her tender lips still slightly swollen. She didn't seem to remember last night but clearly recognized me. "You haven't changed much since high school," she said. I was puzzled until she reminded me that I used to visit my friend's house every summer during high school. His parents were abroad, and he lived with his aunt, but she was always out, so I never met her. I didn't know how she recognized me. Thinking about last night's intense kiss made me feel awkward, but seeing Isabella act as if nothing had happened, meticulously assigning tasks, I gradually relaxed. Before leaving work, she mentioned taking me to an event. By then, the red marks on her lips had faded, and she looked stunning in a black dress.
Who would have thought she was the ruthless businesswoman known for her iron fist?
On the way, an unknown number texted me, asking where I was. I knew who it was without thinking. When the car stopped, I saw the restaurant sign and realized the coincidence.
Isabella asked, "Is there a problem?"
Sitting in the passenger seat, she saw me frozen and frowned slightly.
I forced a smile and said, "No, nothing." I got out and opened the door for her like a gentleman. Isabella then hooked her arm around mine, making me stiffen. Walking into the restaurant with my head slightly lowered, I still couldn't avoid it. Just as I turned to go upstairs, I heard Victoria's voice behind me. "Sebastian, you really came."
She sounded delighted, quickly walking up to me, but her smile faded when she saw Isabella holding my arm.
Who is she?
It had been nearly half a month since I woke up in the hospital. Victoria looked as radiant as ever, her eyes full of confidence, as if she believed I could never escape her grasp, no matter how cold or angry I was. She thought a bit of coaxing would bring me back to her side, just like countless times before. But this Cold War didn't include me getting involved with another woman, which was an absolute betrayal to the proud Victoria, making her face darken. Facing off, Isabella watched with amusement, even chuckling softly. The memory of last night's wet kiss flashed in my mind, the details of our lips and tongues intertwining. I felt a surge of frustration that needed to be released.
Sebastian, who is she? Victoria couldn't hold back her anger this time.
I smiled at her familiarly, pulling Isabella into my arms, declaring our ambiguous relationship.
Of course she's my new girlfriend. Even Isabella was stunned.
Victoria, as expected, was furious.
Sebastian, how dare you do this to me?
Victoria believed they were each other's first love and genuinely wanted to spend her life with Sebastian. After all, no one loved her more than he did.
6 years of companionship made Victoria firmly believe this.
She had even prepared a surprise for his birthday tomorrow, planning to give herself to him. But now, Sebastian was moving on right in front of her. I replied, as far as I'm concerned, we already broke up.
Why wouldn't I dare? Seeing Victoria's face turn pale, I felt a rare sense of satisfaction.
I instinctively wanted to check her crush index, hoping it had hit rock bottom.
That would be perfect. But the next second, I was stunned. There was nothing.
I stared at Victoria, checking repeatedly, but couldn't see any sign of her crush index, neither for me nor for Ethan. Without this special feature, Victoria was just another passerby to me.
My mind raced.
I could only see the crush index of the person I loved.
Now that it was gone, it meant Victoria was truly in the past.
I no longer loved her. Realizing this, I felt a mix of emotions, unconsciously holding the woman beside me. I dazedly climbed the stairs.
How long do you plan to take advantage of me? Isabella's soft voice brought me back to reality.
I realized I had ignored Victoria and was holding my friend's aunt, my boss, as we went upstairs.
Looking back, Victoria was gone.
She was a proud person, humiliated by me, probably off to complain to Ethan. I was about to let go, but Isabella tightened her grip, making it impossible to release her.
Tonight, you are my date, she said ambiguously. After the event, both Isabella and I had drunk, so we took a chauffeur-driven car.
Despite the spacious back seat, the woman beside kept me moving around, making it hard to breathe. Though she wasn't much older than me, being my friend's aunt made our relationship feel absurd.
I was cautious, fearing she might act up again. Fortunately, nothing happened. When we arrived home, the chauffeur left, but the woman leaning on my shoulder didn't move, likely asleep. I gently shook her shoulder. Hey, we're home, Miss Isabella. She opened her eyes and said, why don't you call me aunt anymore? My pupils dilated, realizing she remembered the kiss from last night.
Isabella's eyes were clear, and in the cramped space, she twirled a strand of hair around her finger, looking enchanting. Fearing something inappropriate might happen, I quickly got out of the car.
Back at my friend's house, I planned to talk to Isabella. Aunt, I've been bothering you for days. I'll move back home after work tomorrow.
My intuition told me she was dangerous, and it was best to keep our relationship strictly professional. Isabella said nothing, just gave me a meaningful smile, and went to her room. The next morning, the house was empty again. I took a taxi to the company entrance. Just as I was about to go in, someone called out, Sebastian. Turning around, I saw Victoria in a white dress, with Ethan beside her, looking quite dapper in his suit. I didn't expect you to actually join high-tech, Victoria said, surprised but quickly smiling.
I know you did it for me. It wasn't easy to get in here.
Thank you. I replied calmly, it has nothing to do with you. Ethan said, Sebastian, I heard you and Victoria are breaking up because of me.
He grabbed my arm apologetically. I'm really sorry.
I didn't expect that vote to cause such a big conflict.
Ethan called her Victoria.
They hadn't seen each other for a few days, and he was already so familiar with her. Their progress was fast. I shook off his hand and said, Mr. Ethan, we're not breaking up.
We already broke up. So don't waste your time on me.
Let's pretend we don't know each other from now on.
I walked into the company, feeling satisfied, seeing their shocked faces.
Ethan naturally joined the tech department, while Victoria worked in the documentation department. During lunch, I was about to return to my desk when Victoria pulled me into the break room. "Today is your birthday," she said. "So?" I replied, amused. Unable to stand my expression, Victoria said, "Sebastian, I don't agree with the breakup." She took out a small package from her pocket and shyly handed it to me. "Today, I plan to give myself to you. You always doubt me and Ethan, so I wanted to dispel your doubts." She continued, "I can overlook what happened with that woman last night, but after today, you will be mine. I won't tolerate it happening again." Seeing her serious expression, I found it amusing. "Victoria, today I realized how blind love can make people. Without love, what I once dreamed of now feels dull and annoying." Wasting my lunch break, hearing my sarcasm, Victoria looked displeased. I had no time for her lies and left the break room. Back at my desk, Isabella casually said, "Happy birthday." I was startled, unsure of her intentions, but she didn't mention it again. All afternoon, after work, I told her I was moving out, but she insisted I drive her to a candlelit dinner. The waiter brought a cake and a bouquet of roses for me to give to her. It was clearly a couple's restaurant, with dim lighting and an intimate atmosphere, not fitting our current relationship. Finally, I couldn't hold back. "Aunt, you're 5 years older than me and my friend's elder. This isn't appropriate." Isabella calmly put down her utensils and stared at me. My lips felt dry. "So this isn't right. We're both adults," I said. Isabella's occasional glances at me were clear, but it was strange. We had only known each other for a few days, yet she seemed to have feelings for me. "What is appropriate then? You and Victoria?" Isabella asked, looking aggressive and slightly resentful. 6 years by her side, and you can't compare to her crush's rallying vote, she said, making me speechless and angry. How did she know that? Sebastian Isabella sidewalked over and looked at me gently. They both work under me now. Don't you want to make them suffer? Be with me. Have you forgotten how well we kissed? She placed her hand in front of me. At that moment, I saw a mysterious number on her, 100%. Was it a crush index? For whom? I tried to see, but it vanished like an illusion. Coming back to reality, I found myself holding her delicate hand tightly. After that day, Isabella became my new girlfriend. My friend was ecstatic when he found out, shouting on the phone, "I knew it. My aunt has always had her eye on you." I asked what he meant. He said he had seen my photo in Isabella's study, taken during my freshman year in military training uniform, looking handsome and upright. The angle was clearly a candid shot, and she had many such photos. He continued, "I always thought about it, guessing she had her eye on you since high school when you stayed at our house. It's no surprise you had many admirers at school, but you only liked Victoria. This time, she asked me to bring you home from the hospital. I'm sorry, brother, but my aunt offered too much." After hanging up, Isabella embraced me from behind, her breath intoxicating. "Do you regret it?" she asked. I shook my head. Once I made a decision, I didn't regret it. Moving on from a wrong relationship meant quickly entering a new one. I was also interested in Isabella. At the company welcome party, she held my hand in front of all the employees, shocking everyone. Ethan's face was filled with anger, his grip on the glass tight. As for Victoria, she blocked my way to the restroom, her eyes seemingly on fire. Victoria asked, "Sebastian, how can you be with that woman? Is it to get back at me?" I crossed my arms and replied, "You think too highly of yourself. Do you really think you're worth my revenge? Then why?" she asked, her face turning pale. "Do you genuinely like her?" Of course I don't cling to failed relationships. When disappointment accumulates, it's time to say goodbye. If there's a suitable and high-quality woman pursuing me, why shouldn't I like her? I said seriously. Victoria, feeling a surge of jealousy, said, "Sebastian, you can't like anyone else." She took a deep breath, almost childishly. "I forbid you from liking anyone else." I laughed. "You can't be serious. You're with Ethan and still trying to control me. Your double standards are impressive." Realizing something, Victoria desperately promised, "I know you're still mad at him. I promise I'll never have anything to do with him again. He means nothing compared to you." She then blocked all of Ethan's contacts in front of me. I raised an eyebrow, thinking she was crazy. How could her feelings for Ethan change so quickly? "Is this enough?" she asked before I could respond. Ethan stormed in, complaining, "Victoria, you disappeared for so long.
I couldn't reach you, so you were here. He pulled her into his arms, declaring his claim. Did you block me? My messages aren't going through.
Victoria gritted her teeth, broke free, and slapped him.
Who gave you permission to touch me? We're just colleagues. Stop bothering me.
Ethan, stunned, said, Victoria, we've slept together so many times.
How can you not even let me hold you? Victoria's face turned pale. Ethan continued, Sebastian is with Isabella now. Why bother trying to win him back? He's not worth it.
Victoria's face flushed with anger. For the first time, I saw her treat Ethan with icy disdain.
Get lost, she said furiously. After the welcome party, Isabella didn't ask why I disappeared for so long.
On the way home, she suddenly hugged and kissed me passionately, as if afraid I'd leave her. This time, I held her jaw, kissing her like a beast unleashed. After the long kiss, she melted in my arms, breathless. I watched as my name faintly appeared next to the mysterious 100% on her. I knew I only liked and was curious about Isabella, far from love, but that was okay. There was plenty of time. A few days later, Isabella somehow got Ethan fired for leaking company secrets. He was sued in debt and ended up working at a small, obscure company, starting from the bottom. Victoria also stopped coming to work around the same time. The last time I saw her was at a party, dressed provocatively, accompanying a pot-bellied boss, only to be dragged away and beaten by his wife.